Introducing team number 1, Black Machismo Jay Lethal, Consequences Creed, the team of Lethal Consequences.
Jay Lethal, Consequences Creed, Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley, and Don West were all proven wrong last week. No, Suicide is not Daniels.
Team number 2 from Detroit, Michigan. They are the New Japan Junior Tag Team Champions, Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, the Motor City Machine Guns.
All that was proved in my mind was that Daniels was able to pull the bait and switch. Yeah, he might not be in that costume right now, but he's behind this whole Suicide thing. And I'm going to tell you something. The investigation's underway. I'm not going to rush to judgment like everybody else here is. We're going to find out all the answers, and when it all comes to light, you're all going to be surprised.
And the final team first from the City of Angels, Daniels.
Well, regardless of what you think, the accusations were finally proven wrong last week. And in the process, Daniels saved Suicide from being unmasked, from being exposed. And as a result, when he told Suicide that you owe me one, that one turned out to be a shot at the X Division Championship. It's this Sunday at Sacrifice, former champion Daniels to challenge.
His tag team partner, the TNA X Division champion, Suicide.
You know, you just never know when or where the masked man of mystery will surface, where he will arrive in the Impact Zone.
You know what, Mike? Let's just look at that statement that you just made. If you remember, Suicide would always come flying in from the top of the building. Always come rappelling into the Impact Zone. But here in the last few weeks, this Suicide shows up on our desk, shows up in the crowd. Now, I know Daniels has the ability to rappel into the Impact Zone. Obviously, this guy doesn't. And you know what? Again, I'm not saying. I'm just saying. And here's another thing. Out of all of this, think about this. What has Daniels done? Daniels has gotten himself a X Division shot. Brilliant. Oh, you know what? I'm giving the guy credit. Somehow he's worked himself in to a title against somebody that he's put in the suit to begin with. You got to give the guy credit. He's going to come out of there with an X Division championship come Sacrifice, and everybody else is sitting there going, who's Suicide? What a master plan.
This may be the lamest conspiracy theory that I've ever heard about. We are just 3 days away from Suicide and Daniels for the X Division title, but first tonight here on Impact, they're tag team partners in this three-way match.
Yeah, just keep your eye on this and see if he tags him in. I mean, this is one of those situations where Daniels thinks he's got everybody fooled right now, and yeah, it was a nice shock, and we all had to sit there and think about it, but that's just it. You got to believe none of what you see and half of what you hear.
I know you're pretty tight with the Main Event Mafia. Your comments on Kurt Angle, both looking for Sting, and he's been trying to get a hold of him all week, and also claiming that Sting has to know his role this Sunday at Sacrifice in that four-way for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship.
It's just a situation where Kurt's out of town working on a movie when he gets the news that Sting's put himself in this, and it's just the initial reaction that he's having. But I think once him and Sting talk it over, and Sting lets him know that, hey, it's about getting revenge on Foley and not about becoming the leader of the Main Event Mafia, I think that Kurt will look at it as a great asset to have Sting in that same matchup.
And Sunday, it is all about Sacrifice as the Guns connect with a double-team kick on Daniels. Sting putting up his wrestling career. Kurt Angle putting up his leadership role as the godfather of the Main Event Mafia. And Jeff Jarrett putting up his voting shares, putting up his control, his power in TNA.
Hey, I talked about Daniels' plan to get the X Division title being brilliant. What a brilliant plan by Mick Foley. He's got Jeff all worked up, all steamed up to where, what does he do? He puts his power in TNA on the line this Sunday, and then he's got to face Samoa Joe later tonight.
Check out this teamwork from Sabin and Shelley. Motor City Machine Guns really taking it to Daniels. Sabin connecting from outside in, and then the 2-on-1.
Tell you what, if Daniels could trust Suicide, he'd have tagged him in a long time ago. Here he's trying to take on the Guns themselves. And I'll tell you right now, the Guns getting some good revenge. They know they were embarrassed a little bit last week, and they didn't probably react the way they should have, and they got caught from Daniels from behind. But this is a chance right here for them to settle the score.
This Sunday, 7:30 Eastern, 30 minutes prior to Sacrifice, we will have a special live pre-show, all the late-breaking news, and not only is the pre-show available on your local cable system or satellite provider, it will also be presented live at TNAWrestling.com, courtesy of the video website MyContent.com.
Now, I'll tell you what, folks, that pre-show, you definitely want to tune in because the Amazing Red is going to be in action, and that's always a treat. And I'll tell you what, speaking of a treat, that teamwork by the Motor City Machine Guns is just absolutely on point. Simpatico, poetry, and any other adjectives you can think of. They're incredible.
Lethal Consequence is going to get involved. Consequences Creed with the DDT on Alex Shelley and now squares off with Chris Sabin.
I'm just dying to see this Suicide in action. I mean, my gosh. This guy's going to be rested up for Sacrifice, no doubt about it.
Suicide extending the hand into the six-sided ring, trying to get the attention of his partner, Daniels. The two men that will square off for the X Division Championship this Sunday at Sacrifice. But tonight, as we mentioned, they are tag team partners, and the tag is in. Suicide legal. Suicide with a shot. First for Shelley, then one for Lethal. Attention turned back to Shelley, and then the drop kick into the chest of Black Machismo.
I mean, think about it. This guy's been sitting there watching the whole thing. He's fresh. He's rested up. These other guys are wore out from being in the ring for all those minutes, and now he's just taking advantage of the situation.
Shelley taken right back down to the mat. Suicide motions that he's about ready to put Shelley away. Goes into the corner, but Shelley able to sidestep him and avoid the contact. But, contact made. Corner clothesline by Creed. Follow-up drop kick by Black Machismo.
Tell you what, it was just a matter of time, and now you can see how they're just... Whoa! Wow!
What a DDT by Sabin on Lethal. Then the kick in the corner. Double team on Suicide. Shelley goes up top. Choke slam by Sabin. Here comes Shelley from the top. Frog splash.
That's all she wrote, my friends. Oh, at the last second, Daniels able to save it.
Daniels dives across to make the save. Then the kick connects by Creed on Daniels. Sabin spun around, but he took the legs of Creed out with that leg sweep. Here comes the Lethal combination. Backbreaker into the face plant by Lethal. Lethal going to go back to the well again. Another one of those lethal combinations, but it's blocked by Daniels. Clothesline takes him over to the floor.
I'll tell you one thing you got to give credit to Daniels for. He sure brought out the fire. And all these guys right now as the action is just absolutely incredible. Let's see this moonsault again.
Oh, let's take a look at that split leg moonsault off the top by Daniels. Several views right here. The great angles, the great camera work by our cameramen at ringside. Shelley and Suicide square off. Sliced bread in the corner. It is blocked by Suicide. Takes Shelley over. Caught him with the kick, and he drives him headfirst into that corner turnbuckle.
Alex Shelley got himself caught there. A little overconfidence. Again, he's not knowing who this is, and he was, he planned earlier thinking it was Daniels, and this time caught him by surprise, and man,
powerful,
right in the jab.
Impactful knees into the chest, leads to the 3 count and the win for Suicide and Daniels.
Daniels to Suicide.
Well, this fraud that's Daniels and Suicide continues, and we'll find out this Sunday at Sacrifice whether Daniels' master plan will come to fruition, as basically he set it up so he can go in there and win the X Division title, and we're all just sitting here buying it.
And just like that,
come on.
The lights go out in the impact zone. Suicide disappears.
The charade.
Kurt Angle